Welcome back to 90 Seconds Plus with Invercargill City Mayor Nobby. Today we've got a couple of topics including CCTV and also Wachner Place after the submissions have been put in. But I hear it's not a completely united front at home, what Nobby?
Yeah, well, Mike, it's not. It's I can't get any agreement with Karen at home on this, what option to take for Wachner Place. I mean, does the Prime Minister have his or her partner in the media sort of putting submissions in? I wouldn't have thought so. Why am I the only politician in the country that has to put up with this? So no, she's put in a submission and everybody thinks that some here think that she's promoting the option that I want, but actually it's not the case. I voted last time round for the option that she doesn't want.
Right.
So, that's her payback for me, so.
So Karen's one of these ones that want to cling on to the clock and the clock tower and all that, is she?
Yeah, well, I can't be agreeing to that. I can't be agreeing to that because I've got to keep an open mind on people that are wanting to make submissions, so I'll diligently sit there and read her submission, which I might add she hasn't shown me,
right.
Just done behind the scenes, so it's a bit of a stab in the back, I guess, in some ways, isn't it? But that's the nature of politics.
Well, that damn clock, at least it's right 2 times a day. That's about it. It needs to go. It's an eyesore, that whole area, so it'll be good to open that up and so the city reconnects, I reckon.
We'll see what transpires.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see what happens from there. And the CCTV, so it's good, I think you've had to step in a little bit and what do we do? What was the right wording? Have a look at things and say some tough questions. It was good to see you, Councillor Pottenger, and also Dermody, Councillor Dermody, the three of you, so we got in there and certainly did push the staff on what's gone wrong with the whole process. And the other thing is, it's incredible. It's gone from 800,000 to possibly 2.3, which without any evidence or any real documentation or backup to support that figure. So, yes, what's your thoughts?
Well, I guess at the end of the day, several things are pushed out. The money's trebled. Yep. The time frames have gone what I thought would be 18 months or something to get them all done, maybe a couple of years to 5 years, which means that the tail end of that project will be probably South City and Bluff, yep. Which is unacceptable to me. Yep. And I just don't know, don't have confidence in what I'm being told. Yep. That's no reflection necessarily on the staff, but they didn't signal that was coming. Up until just recently, they were telling us that they were going to start putting the cameras into the CBD for December, which is great because that would have been across the school holiday period where there's always a bit of activity, some unsavoury activity in the inner city. And I went out and gave retailers some assurance that we were going to get started, only to find out that we're nowhere near it. So that has dropped my confidence a little bit, and I don't like to bag off staff, but they've got to deliver on what they say they're going to deliver. Yeah. Or if they can't, then they've got to give us an early undertaking that they're not, because we asked twice, that's elected members asked twice in the lead up to that decision to say, are we heading towards December? Yeah. Is that the kick-off date? And the answer was, yeah, but it's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze. Well, that's okay. Yeah. And then to find out at the drop of a hat, it's now 7 months later before we start. Yeah. I just don't get that. Yeah. So I've taken some control of that. Yeah. I have the right to appoint people for different places, so I'll have the lead on that. And myself and Councillor Dermody, who meet fortnightly on the museum, will also get an update on the CCTV as well to make sure. Make sure that we're getting what we need to get for the city. Yeah. It's too big an investment, the upgrade that we've done, to leave it unresolved. And we don't want crime like other cities got in the way. One of the deterrents is the cameras. Yeah. While it doesn't stop crime, it does allow you to get hold of the offenders. Yeah. And that's the most critical thing. So.
And hopefully now with the change of government, we've got a government that's more focused on dealing with crime and criminals and punishing them instead of sort of slapping them around the wrist with a wet bus ticket too.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting debate. We've had the debate about whether 16-year-olds should vote. Yeah. I personally don't agree with that. Yeah. I think it should stay at 18, but we've decided to be neutral on that submission to Parliament. I think if the national elections are staying at 18, then why should we have it at 16? Yep. That's the first issue. Yep. Second issue is that when you talk about youth crime, they get dealt with by the youth caught in by Oranga Tamariki till they're 18-year-olds. So that tells you something. Yeah. So, in one breath we're saying, you should be able to vote, but at the next breath you're not held accountable as an adult. Yes. And so there's a Supreme Court hearing at the moment around that whole issue is people that do serious crimes under the age of 18, should they be accountable as though they were 18-year-olds? And I'm definitely in support of that, because the wet bus ticket that you talk about is definitely not suitable for some of the crimes that have been committed. Ram raids, a classic example, but some assaults as well.
And I think the problem is with young criminals, if they don't learn consequences early on, they keep on committing crimes as they go into adulthood. Yeah, so it's a no-brainer. Yeah. Well, that's 90 Seconds Plus with Invercargill City Mayor Nobby. This weekend, don't forget, we've got the little train show on Saturday, and don't forget, next weekend, end of the month, is the wrestling at the Working Man's Club, so make sure you get your tickets for that as well.
So I was remiss of me not to mention two things. One is the pink ribbon stuff next week.
Yes.
Really important that we get in behind that.
Yep.
People know that I've had cancer, and early detection is a really key thing. So, but they need funding to be able to do that and to do research. And the other thing is that for those that like sports, the 3x3 basketball is in town next week, and that is huge. Between Australia and New Zealand, I went down a couple of years ago, and I'm mad on sports. And it was one of the best sports functions I've ever seen. It's just so fast and it's so quick. Games are over and done within 10 minutes. So it's well worth to go and have a look if you've got a bit of spare time over the tail end of next week.
Right. And until next week, see you later.